Well, yeah, so I was shaving. I was trying to trim my beard to go to this thing. I had to do this Rose Marie documentary Q&A with Dick Van Dyke. I was like, I'm going to be sitting next to Dick Van Dyke. He's a very handsome guy.
Respect. Yeah.
So I tried to trim a little bit, and then I nicked and I disconnected right where the mustache meets the beard. And I was like, oh, I better do that on the other side. And I look like a ventriloquist dummy or like an Amish Japanese assassin, an Amish ninja fusion. I don't know what it looked really distinct. It looked really specific, and it was going to distract me all night. So then I just shaved the whole beard.
Rather than look like a shitty auctioneer.
Yeah, so now I look great.
How do you feel, though? Because you look younger.
Yeah, but what's the point of being younger if you're a young tub of shit? You look like a young fucking sad, pimply seal. But not a sad, pimply seal a day over 5, which is 50 in seal years.
How was it?
It was interesting. I really like that documentary. I really recommend it a lot. It has the unintended effect of making you kind of comfortable with mortality. Rose Marie is 95 years old, 94. She kind of like she's almost literally born entertaining. She's like 4 years old and she's like singing, and then she's 94 at the end of the documentary, and she's saying like, why am I left? What am I? Does anybody have a work for me? Like I can come in my wheelchair, and like she's just like, what? Anybody want me to do something? I'll do something. And I was like, yeah, there's that. Or then there's the Jim Carrey method. Like I watched that documentary where Jim Carrey talks about being Andy Kaufman, and his whole thing is like, you know, none of this matters. And, you know, he had to, you know, he's like, oh, that's not a coffee cup. It's a, you know, I'm not about to drink out of it. Oh, now I did. And like he had to, if you're Jim Carrey, you probably have to, you can't just be like, I'll do anything. So then you have to be like, okay, how do I feel about having $1 trillion?
Yeah. Yeah. And being broke. He started out so poor.
Yeah. And Canadian, which is like, yeah. Like that's like the poverty of nationalities. So even a rich Canadian is like a fucking it's already starting at zero. I'd apologize, but Canadians don't care.
Yeah, they're too nice.
Yeah, they're apologizing to me.
Yeah, they just happen to be shouted out at this point.
they're tweeting, "I'm sorry, you called us pieces of shit right now."
So you were inside a lot, I take it, when you weren't going out, because that means you watched a lot of documentaries.
Yeah, I mean it's yeah. Do you go outside a lot?
I go outside a lot.
You do?
Yeah, it's where the people are.
Yeah.
I like to watch the people.
How can you keep an eye on all of them? You know that one of them is going to kill you, right?
Yeah. Well, I keep an eye on that one especially. But
the only way to guarantee you don't die by person is to stay away from all of them, and that they are the number one killer of people right now.
I mean, I'm just trying. I don't go to, there's a lot of places that I've seen with, things go down. So I know not to go to certain concerts in certain places.
How would you have known to avoid I think you would have considered the Don McLean. What was that guy's name? Like you would have got.
I'm not headed to like an Eagles reunion.
Right.
I'm not going to any sort of like.
You can't tell what concert's gonna get.
I can.
Gonna get blowed up. How? What do you mean? You can't tell. Are you magical? Are you like a CW hero? Are you? Do you have a? Are you the mentalist?
The mentalist when it comes to concerts.
Or are you saying you have a system?
I got a system. I live right beneath the Greek. I've lived there for like 15 years, as you do as well. And you sort of get an idea of who's at the concert and what the show is going to be by like who's marching up the hill. So yeah, I know.
Is there a concert you'd buy a ticket to, and then as you were walking up to the Greek Theater, you'd like stop and turn around because you're like, there's a lot of juggalos here.
Fish, juggalos,
juggalos, juggalees.
You were right. You were so right.
Juggalem, Juggalai.
Juggalese, like
Juggale.
juggalos or goose. So juggalese.